the relative cost of moving goods in East Africa is one of the highest in the world, leading up to 75% of a product cost going to logistics compared to 6% in the U.S. Jean-Claude Homawoo, the co-founder, Chief Product Officer of Lorry Systems Kenya, joined us earlier more to share more on this.
Marketplace that effectively matches shippers of cargo with carriers across the continent. Effectively, what Lorry does is facilitate and add efficiency to the transportation of cargo on the continent. The reason for that is because in Africa especially, the cost of goods is extremely high. As a matter of fact, logistics accounts for up to 40% or more of the cost of goods. That is in comparison to 6% in the US, which means that African goods are effectively uncompetitive on global markets and unaffordable on local markets because logistics is so ineffective. So this is the problem that Lorry is trying to solve. We're trying to solve and bring down the cost of goods by bringing more efficiency to the movement of cargo. And we do that really with the help of technology and better processes to keep trucks moving and increase the utilization of trucks.
Yeah, and how much investment has been injected into Lorry for it to be able to operate, as you said, across borders?
So we haven't yet announced our most recent round, but to date, we've been fortunate to raise previously about $6 million US, and we have just recently finalized additional funding, and this really is to help us continue to grow the team and invest in more technology to further automate the processes by which we match supply and demand and increase the utilization of the trucks that are on our network.
Yes, and you say that one of the main thing is that moving cargo from one country to another is very expensive in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, what are some of these factors that lead to it being so pricey?
Sure, and by the way, Fiona, it's not always about moving cargo from one country to the other. Sometimes it's even moving cargo within a given country that can be very expensive. And it's expensive mainly because the utilization of those trucking assets is very low. Effectively, what ends up happening is that an SME that owns trucks will only be able to do 1 or 2 or 3 moves in a period of a week. And so the rest of the time, this truck, which is a really expensive asset, is actually depreciating, and they're not making money. They're not making enough money in the course of a week. And so utilization is a big problem. Keeping that truck moving is a big problem. And so what Lorry does to solve that problem is, first of all, we provide cargo to these trucking companies. We make it easier for them to find jobs so that they can keep their trucks moving. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there are a lot of problems in the system. So in sub-Saharan Africa, whether it's at a factory or at a port, what you find is that these trucks are delayed, or the cargo is not ready, or there are various issues, there are trucks that break down, but there's no central coordination. No one is helping send a different truck if a truck breaks down, or helping the crossing of a border happen quicker. So this is precisely where Lorry comes in. We provide a central coordination with data and visibility as to what's happening across the ecosystem. And our focus then is on optimizing the movement and the utilization of trucks, providing transparency, providing visibility to the shippers of cargo so they know at all times what's happening with the cargo, and for the transporters, the transportation companies, for them to reliably move their trucks and know that they're maximizing the earning ability of the trucking asset.
Yes, you've talked about optimizing the movement, but then when you look at the infrastructure development, especially roads here on the continent, there is still a lot to be done, and we're seeing that more investment needs to be put there. So doesn't this pose a big challenge, especially when it comes to delivering the products on time, or even the cars breaking down? Is this like one of the main challenges that you face?
It's one of many challenges, right? So the efficiency by which the trucks move, the roads, the ease of doing business, all of these are challenges that we're dealing with on the continent. But on a day-to-day basis, we don't find that the main problem is bad roads. Roads need to improve, and thanks to a lot of investment, they are improving. But really, coordinating and having visibility in what is going wrong is the central problem, the availability of information. If a truck is delayed, the shipper needs to know that that truck is delayed, and so that it will arrive later so that they can make arrangements around that. Whether or not the road is bad or whether or not the truck breaks down is really independent of the fact that ultimately what's most necessary is central coordination and transparency and visibility into what is happening.
Yes, one of the main concerns for many people is safety of the goods. And as you said earlier on, Lori works with technology, tracking goods, for the customers to be able to track their goods. But in some areas, in some parts of the continent, that do not have internet connection. So how safe is it?
Right. So trucking fundamentally is can have its challenges, right? There's certain lanes that are more dangerous than others. So where Lori contributes here is in working very closely with the transportation companies and the drivers. So first and foremost, any truck that is added to our network is checked. We check the driver's information. We have full records on the trucks. We ensure that those trucks are properly insured. And in general, we are able to track the performance and the quality and the reliability of these truck drivers and these trucking companies. So by default, our model allows for surfacing the best transporters and ensuring that our shippers have access to the best transporters. Beyond that, we also have partners right here in Kenya and in Nigeria as well, that we work with to ensure that transporters and truck drivers are properly trained, and that we use some of the best standards in ensuring that both the quality of the truck and the ability of the driver itself is really shored up.
Jean-Claude, before I let you know, briefly tell me, what countries are you currently in and what are your expansion plans?
Sure. So today we have an East African business and a West African business. So in East Africa, we are headquartered in Kenya with 3 offices in Kenya. We move cargo to Rwanda, to Uganda, to South Sudan, and to Tanzania. In West Africa, we are headquartered in Lagos, Nigeria, a really key market for us. And we've also recently launched our operations in Ghana with further plans to expand on the continent. So we're really looking forward to bringing some of these services and solutions that we've been able to develop and the technology that we've built around that